copy of what we're going to be going over. So my name is Craig Clark. I represent a company, ACN, but we also provide a service called Zoom Energy. The reason why we kind of wanted to just start getting some of these calls together, because I know there's a lot of people that had questions regarding what's going on in Connecticut with EverSource and the changes and the energy rates going up. And just because it's something newer to certain people, they got that concern about switching over to a third party supplier. And what is a third party supplier, and what are the things that can happen? So tonight, what I'm going to do, we're not going to take too much time. We're just going to kind of go over the basics of what's going on in Connecticut. What's a third party supplier, how that got started, and then kind of show you why right now it makes sense to lock in your rate. Just due to the fact that we understand that the cost of living is going up, and having your energy bill on supply side double is a major thing. It's a major thing. So I'm going to go pull up some slides here. And at the end, if there's any questions, we're more than happy to answer any questions you might have. So what we did was get this right off of the state website. The website's right there. It's portalct.gov, the media consumer update regarding the winter rates. Now, what this is showing in the middle where we highlighted, but this was a notice that went out November 17th about what was happening. So if you look at the first yellow line there where it says, July 1st, 2022, this is showing what your current rate is on the supply portion of your bill. I'll go into what the supply portion is briefly, but in a minute. But this is showing what you're currently paying. So most people, if you're not with a third-party supplier already, you're currently paying about 12 cents per kilowatt. That's what you're getting charged each individual kilowatt, which makes up your total cost on your supply portion. Now, this usually changes in Connecticut every 6 months. They usually announce it sometime between, let's say October, November each year. And then whatever that rate is, that goes into effect in January. And then they do this again around May or June. They'll announce the new rate, because in July, they implement a new rate. So they do this twice a year. Obviously, energy itself is based like any other commodity when it comes to the supply and demand situation. And right now, obviously, there's a supply and demand situation with what's going on in Russia. As you see here in January of 2023, the supply portion of the bill is going to go to 24 cents. So that's basically a 100% increase from what your current supply portion of your bill currently is. So just, simple numbers, and I'm going to show a real example at the end. If you're paying, $50 on a supply portion, that part's going to 100. So just to give you a good idea. Now, if you're in the lower part of Connecticut and you're using United Illuminating as the energy company, they're going from currently 10 cents to 21 cents. So they're seeing the same effect as well. Doesn't matter if it's EverSource or UI, both situations are actually going up. The state did give us some examples, basically saying if you're using roughly about 700 kilowatts, that's about the size of a one family home. It's going to go up about $84.85 with EverSource and about $79.24 with UI. And then if you go to that article, it'll get deeper into why that effect is, what's going on. And they specifically say this is tied to the conflict that's going on in Russia and the Ukraine. Again, it's a supply and demand issue. When there's not a lot of supply and we're having a hard time getting that supply, it increases the cost. Again, the semi hope we have here is that they do this every 6 months. But if you're watching the news, it's not a guaranteed thing. That situations will be different when it comes to importing and exporting commodities in the next 6 months. So that rate can maybe possibly stay the same, go up, or maybe go down. But we're going to show you why it makes sense to kind of lock in a rate now to give yourself some peace of mind and not increase your rate too high. Now, just to kind of get into, what Connecticut is and explain how it's a deregulated state. So back in 1998, the state of Connecticut decided to let other companies come in and supply the energy side of the bill. Before that, just like some other states still are, was basically monopoly, right? You didn't have a choice. You signed up with Eversource because that's the only energy provider in your area, or UI. You would have to deal with them delivering it to you and charging them to deliver it to you and taking care of the lines and any emergency calls. And then you also had to buy the supply portion of the energy from them. Think of it like buying a car. You buy a car, let's say you bought yourself a Honda, and then Honda also sold you the gas, but that's the only gas you could put in that car, right? You'd be forced to pay whatever they decide to charge you for the supply of that gas. Same concept here. So in 1998, lawmakers made the decision to be able to give the consumers of Connecticut the opportunity to choose their actual supplier, which created a competition and helped keep costs regulated. And in this situation, as you're going to see now, the ability to also save money by going with a third-party supplier. So this is something that's been around for years at this point. Everybody isn't taking advantage of this, but it's something that you always want to keep your eye on, because this is, energy bills is something that a lot of people don't pay attention to. They just, pay it until all of a sudden that bill comes in and it's like, whoa, this is like 2 times what it used to be. So it's something that, is out there that's available to all of us. So what I wanted to do was actually take a real bill, blacked off some areas, but this is an actual bill in my home right now. As you see, a typical bill, I'm going to break through it. You have your total amount that's up top, for November was $110. But here in the middle where you see the highlighted portion, this is where it breaks out the 2 pieces I was talking about, either the supply side and the delivery side. Now, the delivery side is something that we have no control over. There is no third-party supplier when it comes to delivery. Eversource controls the lines. Something happens to your electricity, tree falls and line goes, that's who you have to call. So that's what they charge you for on the delivery side of the bill. We're focused on the supply portion of that bill. That's always going to be the little blue section on your bill when it comes to the Eversource bill. And as you see there, it was $42.35. And that's what we're trying to control. That's what we're trying to have not increase. Because, at this bill itself, I'm going to give you an example, because we actually locked in literally almost a year ago when the rates with the third-party supplier were around 8 cents. Now, if you look at your bill currently is at 12 cents. So by us locking in a year ago at 8 cents, we've been able to save money over this past year. But just so you can kind of get an idea of how the bill looks. So right under, and it's small, but I'll show you another screen in a second here. Under the supply portion, it literally tells you supply information. It'll say supplier rate there. Tells you what you're paying per kilowatt. We're at 8.59 kilowatts and it's fixed, meaning that it's not going to go up and down month over month. You might have heard some situations with third-party suppliers where, somebody got in a plan and their rate was going up and down, it got real high. That's called a variable rate. Today, we're going to be focused on fixed rates because that's the most protective way to get a supply. Also, it's going to tell you your term here, and then it's going to tell you your expiration date. The expiration date of ours was a 12 months, so ours ends in January 2023. I'll explain how renewals works. But if you're looking at a typical Eversource bill and you're getting your supply from Eversource, that's going to show you a 6-month term. You're always locked into a 6-month term. Again, they start in January, then they start in July. To the right of that section, you're going to see it shows the electric supplier is. So if that section says Eversource, that means you are dealing with Eversource. If it says Zoom Energy or Constellation or some of the other companies that are out there, that means you're working with a third-party supplier. Now at the bottom here to the left, just to kind of go back, it's always going to show you what Eversource's rate is at the current time. So here it says standard service rate is 12 cents. Term expiration 6 months. That's not saying what I had. It's just showing what Eversource is offering its current customers at the time. Now, let's go on to the next page here. Let's see if I can blow this up a little bit for you. All right. One more time. Over here, we're going to go back to the highlighted part. It's a little easier to read here, where it shows you this is the supplier portion of the bill. Then it's going to show you your generation service charge. So it's showing here to the right of that we use 493 kilowatts. To the left here on this blue section, I'll just back up a little bit, all the way to the left, you're able to see the type of what average kilowatts you use, over the past usually 12 to 13 months, and then it'll tell you your actual reading there. So that's just telling you how many kilowatts you actually used inside that month. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we were locked in at 8.59. So all it's doing to get this $42 number of what we were actually charged is taking the amount of kilowatts, multiplying it by the 8.5 cents for each individual kilowatt, and that's what we're paying. So this just gives you a good idea of where to look on your bill, get an understanding of what the supply portion is of the bill. One thing I hope you did notice on this on here, even though I'm with Zoom Energy, I'm still paying Eversource. The bill still comes for Eversource. Any issues I have to deal with, I still deal with Eversource. Nothing changes. The only thing that changes on the bill is this supply portion on the bill here. It just says Zoom Energy. Zoom Energy already, if you signed up with Zoom Energy or another third-party supplier, once you sign up with them, they deal with Zoom Eversource directly, and then they handle that on the back end. There's nothing that you have to do. Everything with you stays the same. You still pay Eversource. Your bill is still going to come from Eversource. But this was a great example I wanted to show because when I locked in, the rates were around 7.2%, to 7.2 cents. But obviously, I seen what was going on. I knew the rates were going to go up inside the United States. So I wanted to lock in at 8. I did that. Eversource on the next contract went up to 12 cents. And that's why I've been benefiting off that savings. So just to show you in a real example that, locking at a flat rate will benefit you and put money back into your pocket and your family's pocket. Now, the company we represent is Zoom Energy. Just to give you an idea of who Zoom Energy is, they are licensed in Connecticut, but they are a parent. NRG is their parent company. If you're familiar with NRG Stadium out in Texas, but NRG is one of the largest distributors of electricity and gas inside the United States as a third-party supplier, and Zoom Energy is licensed under them. They actually started in Kentucky in 2013. They started this business with the concept of giving people options, of helping other people, not being stuck to your local utility provider that is, really controlled by the state and is really dictated on profits, really dictated on profits. So they wanted to give people the opportunity. Zoom Energy also serves all 19 deregulated states. They're the one and only company that's in all 19 deregulated states. And they also provide gas and electricity in different markets. Connecticut is only deregulated at this time for electricity. I just wanted to make that clear. They're only allowed to do electricity inside of Connecticut because Connecticut is not deregulated on the gas as of yet. Zoom Energy also works with residential and business customers. Business customers do have the option as well to look and shop for a third-party supplier. So we have been servicing residential and business customers. Now, I'm going to show you a live example. This is a slide, but I'm going to pull up the website in a second. This is a typical website. Most of the third-party companies, you would sign up with through a website. Zoom Energy is exactly the same way. What I'm going to do now is actually just pull up the website here. Just give me a second. And in real time, what I'll do is, if I can have Alberto, if you want to unmute, and we'll do a quote in real time here.
Sure.
Good here. All right, so you're able to see the website. This is our actual website here. Sorry about that. Let me just make sure I got the right screen. There we go. All right, so this is the actual website that we're able to go into. Very easily, you can either tonight, the person that invited you, they can help you walk you through this and get to the site to actually get a quote, or you can request the website and you can do this yourself. The process is actually very simple. My mom actually just did it. I was actually proud of her that she was actually able to sign her up with no issues. Didn't call me back and ask for help. She actually signed herself up. But all you gotta do here is put in the zip code. Alberto, if you want to give me your zip code.
06052.
06052. And depending if you're a bit of a residential customer or business, you would check which one you are. You'd actually hit C rates. Once you do that, Eversource is going to look in your Zoom Energy is going to look in your area and figure out who your energy supplier is and see if they can actually service your area. So as you see here, Eversource is obviously in his area, and then it goes through some basics of what it is. So there's no enrollment fees. You're not paying anything up front to actually sign up. There's no service interruptions when switching, so you're not going to go a time period without having electricity. You have total choice in picking what plans and pricing that you need. There is budget billing available for those that are using budget billing. A couple of things I do like on the site that you also can see if you didn't know what was going on. You can actually click on this link right here, and it'll give you an idea of what the current rate is in your area. So we click here, and it actually tells us what's happening in Connecticut's market. So, for residential, it's going to go up to 24 cents in January. It lets you know that it is going to expire on January 30th. Very clear and transparent that, again, these are 6-month terms that Eversource does. It tells you that the commercial is going to be at 23, and then it gives you, if you're in a lower part of Connecticut, shows you about UI is going to be at 21 for residential and 20 on the commercial. So you're able to see all that information here right on the actual site. But now, as we scroll down, depending on what market you're in, but Connecticut only allows third-party companies to offer fixed rates. So it's going to show you all the plans that are available. Typically, we like to talk about what's going to save you the most money, but I am going to go through a couple of these just to give you an idea because everybody's situation is different. So one of the plans that they have here is something called a SureLock 12 with airline rewards. Obviously, this rate's a little bit higher. It's at 19 cents. Keep in mind, it's still lower than the 24. This would be beneficial for somebody that likes airline rewards. I have a rental property where the electricity is included. So my tenant's actually paying electricity, but I have them signed up. So I have that account is set up on airline rewards. I travel a lot for business, so it made sense. A couple of good things I do like about this one, if you were interested, you're able to hit details here and it gives you some information. Once you sign up for this, you actually get, and I'll just go down to the bottom here, and I'm actually enrolled, so I see this. I got 10,000 points just for signing up. So if you are an airline rewards type of person, you get 10,000 points. They do this with American Airlines and also Southwest. Then you get 2 miles for every dollar charged. So this gets automatically added to your account. So when I look at my American Airlines app, I can go in and see that I'm getting rewards points every single month just for paying my bill. So this is one of the options that are here. I'll go through terms and conditions in a second. Oh, let me just get back. I'll go through terms and conditions in a second on these different plans. You have Rescue Lock 12. This one's at 19. This is for the pet lovers. Zoom Energy will take 5% of the charges and donate that to Pet Smart charities. And that's a 12-month lock again. And also the airline rewards one was a 12-month lock. Just meaning that rate is going to stay the same at 19.29 or 19.59 for 12 months. Okay. Then you have a regular SureLock 12 where you can get it for 12 months. And because Zoom Energy is buying this in bulk and they're only buying it for 12 months, that one's at 18.69. The ones that I've been suggesting to my friends and family and the ones I've been helping out is doing the SureLock 24. And I'll explain why, because you're probably saying, well, 24 months is long. Who knows what's going to happen? You said it changes every 6 months. Well, since Zoom Energy is going out and basically purchasing your energy before you're going to use it, and they're buying it in bulk for you, the more they buy, obviously, the lower it gets. Nothing different than any regular wholesale concept here. So the 24 SureLock is at 17.19. Now, you have the ability, you'll be able to see here once you click on this, that one, there's no monthly fee. So you're not going to be charged a monthly additional fee for having this. Then if in July, for some reason, Eversource comes out, let's say May, and says, hey, we're going back to 12 cents, and you're locked in at 17. All you have to do is unenroll with Zoom Energy. You contact Zoom Energy and let them know, hey, I'm done. I'm all set. I want to go back to Eversource. You need to do that about 60 days prior. That's roughly about the time period that Eversource usually releases out their new rate, because they usually have to submit that to the state. And at that point, you can have an idea and you can switch. On the site here, it shows no cost recovery fees, so you're not going to be penalized for actually doing that. I like that the transparency is on the side as well. You're able to click here and get disclosure information. So you can see all the information, what's included, what's not included, how does it work, how does the first month reading work, and so forth. Shows you what the rate's going to be. Also here, you can get an idea of what the contract looks like. So you can actually click here and see the contract. Shows you what the generation rate's going to be, when the service would start, that you are going to be in a fixed plan, how long the contract is, what the renewal looks like, if the termination fee, explains how you have a right to cancel at any time throughout the process, and then it gives you the information. So you're actually able to see right on the site prior for you making any decision exactly what your contract is going to consist of and what your contract looks like. Now, if you're like saying, hey, this makes sense, how do I sign up? Well, the sign up process is actually very easy. You're literally able to do this right on our site by hitting choose. You'll hit choose, and it's literally going to walk you through the process. This literally takes somewhere between, I say about 5 to 7 minutes to get yourself completely enrolled. And you're going to be taking information right off your bill. So you have a copy of your bill, you can take that information. I know some people I've been talking to don't have a copy, so all you have to do is go online to the site, download a copy, and you're able to get yourself enrolled. So here you'll be you'll be entering in your electric account number. If you're not sure where that is on the bill, you can hit the link here. What's this? It'll show you exactly where the account number is for you to enter in. There's something called a service reference number. This will be on your account, on your bill. It's usually in this blue section here where it shows you your billing cycle and your usage. That's where you would get that information from. Then you have a customer key. This is key. It's typically the first 4 letters of your last name if you're not able to find it for some reason. I've seen Eversource bills that where it was very hard to find for some reason, but it also shows you where on the bill typically it is. You would take that information and then you would enter that information on here. I'm not enrolling somebody, but you would click off all this information, hit continue enrollment. Once you do that, it'll take you through a regular stage of entering your first name, your last name, your address, and some other information. Once in a while, because it does it randomly, it's not every single account. It will do a verification of you to make sure it's you putting in the information. So it might pull some information off your credit report just to confirm that you. That's not every single one. It kind of spot checks and does that on a random basis. Now, lastly, what I want to show you is just a real example of the kind of type of savings that you could potentially be looking at here. Let me just pull this back up. And all I did simply here was kind of make a calculator and on Excel just to show what it looks like. Now, what I did was take an example of 500 kilowatts. So we kind of just walk through this with me in column B. So that was what you'd use inside your home. Now, currently in column D there, currently in Connecticut, most people are going to be at this 12 cents. So if you use 500 kilowatts, multiply that by the 12 cents, that means your bill on the supply portion of the bill is going to be $60.25. Now, with the current rate that Zoom is putting in place at 17.19, if you look in column G, your bill going forward would be $85.95. Now, one thing I do want to mention, if you signed up today, it's between a 30 to 60 day process for Zoom to be able to convert your bill over. So if you sign up today, you will most likely be paying the rate of 24 cents in January, and it's a good chance in February would be the first time that you'd actually be getting you'd be fully switched over to Zoom and you would start getting this new rate. But so the later you wait, the longer you're going to go into January because there is a 36-day process. Right now, I'm seeing them be done at 30 days. But as more people, and this has been on the news a lot, you're going to see more people getting in, so it's going to slow up that process in that pipeline. But to continue what I was showing you, column H says, the rate of 24 cents. So if you use the 500 kilowatts at the 24 cents, the bill goes up to $121. Now, keep in mind, we were talking about having currently a $60 bill. It's going to go to $121. But switching to Zoom, as you see in column G, that bill would be $85. So just looking at the difference between that 121 and the 85, that's $35 a month in savings. Yearly savings, that's $420, but that's not including if there's any increase that happens in July. Again, this is speculation. We can't say, hey, what's going to happen in July? Obviously, we're in kind of unprecedented situation with where a lot of the energy comes from being war torn at this point. But at least this gives you an idea of what the savings that you could potentially be looking at with some real numbers here. And that's basically all around idea of, what Zoom Energy is, the opportunity for you to save some money, how to sign up. And what I want to do is just open kind of the floor up. If there's any questions regarding what you've seen or anything we had or any questions you might have that I didn't touch on, just kind of throw it out there and I'll try our best to answer them for you. And all you have to do is unmute if you have any questions. All right. Well, that's a great thing. That tells me I did a great job. I appreciate that. A couple things I just want to touch on. You do have the opportunity to, help other people. That's how we got this call. This is our first one. We're going to be doing this throughout the month. If you see yourself at wanting to help other people, you might have got invited tonight by somebody and you're going to help send them some, help other people. You have an opportunity to actually do the same thing that we're kind of doing. There's some members on this call, and actually I'll probably go to Alberto, kind of tell you what he's been doing, but you have an opportunity to be part of the revenue side of this business. If you see an opportunity for yourself where you're like, you know what, I do know other people that can, need some help. I do want to be on the revenue side of this business or the opportunity side of this business, and definitely touch base. But Alberto, I'll kind of just tell what you've been doing over the past month and a half here, because he's been helping a lot of people get their bills over and lock in the rate.
Yeah, thanks for allowing me to share. So I've been talking to a lot of people. I've been explaining exactly what you've been explaining on details on the rateage, what it's going to be coming up in January, what it is now, how much of an impact it's going to make from now to then, and how much they're willing to save. So everybody's obviously, if they think like I do, I want to spend less on my bills and more on what I want. So, most of the time they're like, hey, yeah, sure. A few of them do have questions, and I did invite them to this presentation. That way they can get this information. But so far everybody's been very cordial, and appreciating the assistance and the information and passing the word forward. So, that's all I'm asking. Help as many people as we can before the rates go up and help them save. I did have one question that a few people do ask me. I'm wondering if you're able to, answer in case anyone else was curious. A lot of people were saying if they were to get solar panels, would that affect it or would it make a difference? So I was just wondering if you could, if you have an answer for that.
I actually did some research on that last night. I had a feeling that question might come up for some reason. So it's two situations. So some people that get solar panels actually end up selling the energy back to the energy company. If they're in that situation, then you cannot sign up with Zoom. So if you got solar, you're using it for your home, and then the overage you're selling back to a supplier, or you're selling back to let's say Eversource or UI, then you're not able to switch over. If you have solar panels, but it doesn't give you enough energy in the home, and you still have to use some from Eversource, then you are able to. So if you're consuming it and not reselling it, then you are able to switch over even if you have solar panels.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem. All right, and I know Angel just did Raymond, did you have something? Just unmuted. Guess maybe not. Angel, I'll let you I know you had something you wanted to kind of show.
Yeah, great training, Craig. That was awesome. And I just want to encourage everyone, if y'all got questions, this is the time. Like literally let it out right now. I just want to share a little video, and I don't know if y'all been watching it. I'm somewhat addicted to the news, which is not a good thing in our reality, but when it comes to this topic, it's a great thing. They're constantly elaborating on this. So I just want to share this little video that I actually posted on my social media. I'm going to fast forward real quick so I can get the concept. Let me know if you can hear the video. Can you hear it?
Business partners that we elaborated, came together with this company.
I'm gonna fast forward a little.
Topic here, the that's.
Here we go.
Right now, 4:30 with UI and Eversource electric rates rising in January. A lot of people are choosing to switch to a third-party supplier to try and save some money.
But some Eversource customers are saying they're not being allowed to do so. Our team has been digging into this, and Chief Investigative Reporter Sam Smink is live in the studio with more on why this is happening. Sam.
We've spoken to several Eversource customers who say they received
this, the rejection letter from the third-party supplier they were hoping to switch to. The letter says their request was denied because they are enrolled in Eversource hardship program. But Eversource customers like George LaValle say they never asked to be put in a hardship program. LaValle said with his income, he wouldn't even be qualified because he makes too much. These hardship programs can help reduce or eliminate past due balances for low-income customers. There's also a winter protection plan that prevents Eversource from disconnecting your service if you can't pay at any time during November through May. Eversource tells me in October, tens of thousands of people were newly enrolled in hardship programs. The company used different data sources to determine whether people qualified, but the data wasn't perfect, so mistakenly enrolled high-income earners. Pura and Eversource says the idea was to help low-income customers who hadn't previously requested to be on the program themselves or maybe didn't know they could qualify. They say this happened before the new higher rates were announced, so there had been no negative at the time.
This is an unprecedented time with some brand new rates, and it is not what we intended. This was a do no harm. Let's protect and get our customers the best programs and protections for them. And it did not have any intention of surprising customers with any sort of negative information.